सत श्री अकाल, नमस्कार, नमस्ते. How are
Hello
you?
Ed. Hello Ed. How are you today?
Good to see you. अपना नाम बताइएगा please for the record.
My name is Navv, and yeah, and I'm a realtor, full-time realtor in Mississauga, Ontario. I belong to Chandigarh. If background comes to play, I'm from there. I did my schooling from there as well, and I have been in Canada since 2006.
And what do you and I have in common?
We both are comics. We both do comedy.
Right. So I have to give due credit for Lal Button. Lal Button has got introduced you to me, and I hope that I will always acknowledge that. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lal Button.
Anji, I'll give you all the spotlight now. You please tell us a little bit more about whatever you like to talk about, but let's start with what we've got on the list over there.
Yeah, let's go with it.
हाँ जी, बताइए अपने बारे में कुछ बताइए और कुछ.
So, do you want to go with the questions, or do you want me to? So, for me, how I got into comedy, maybe I'll tell you that. So, मुझे लगता था कि the way I look at things, the way I present the things in saying, वो funny बन जाती है. So I started writing jokes about in 2018. Or the irony of this joke situation is कि पहले, I grew up in Chandigarh talking in Punjabi, Hindi, and then I had started writing jokes in English. And sometimes, like, you feel the way we say things is the same way it's taken, but sometimes it's not the case.
Very good point, Anji. Valid point.
And then this Lal Button happened, and they're like, "आप आके पंजाबी में करके देखो." I'm like, "Yeah, this is really good opportunity." क्योंकि मुझे अभी I don't have to interpret myself and then go out with a joke. I can just go out with a joke directly, and I think I'm liking it so far.
And that's what improvisation is all about. You improvise on the spot rather than reading jokes from Google.
Yeah, I think reading a joke still doesn't land sometimes, believe me.
तो आपकी खूबी यही है कि आप इम्प्रोवाइज कर सकते हैं ऑन द स्पॉट डिपेंडिंग ऑन द ऑडियंस. सो अकॉर्डिंगली अगर आपकी ऑडियंस अभी सारे मद्रासी होंगे तो कैसे जोक सुनाओगे आप?
लुंगी पे सुनाऊंगा. We guys have a saying कि वो they eat a lot of rice. So फिर मैं rice पे सुनाऊंगा jokes. Like something that would present the difference from the eye of a different community.
So but what you're saying is funny for a Punjabi, but Madrasi तो चावल तो उसके staple food है, उसको तो it's not funny.
Yeah, there's a joke about it too. So a little joke, So वो ना पंजाबी और मद्रासी इकट्ठे जा रहे होते हैं ट्रेन में, and उससे ना वो खोलने लगता, अपना डब्बा खोलने लगता है मद्रासी, और पंजाबी उससे खुलता नहीं है. So पंजाबी खोलता है, and just like नीचे से वो चावल निकलता है. Like, oh, चावल खाते रहते हो, कभी रोटी भी खा लिया करो. Right? So वो मद्रास वाला थोड़ा हो गया कि यार ये कैसा मुझे है ना, like मुझे तो वो कर गया, टॉन्ट मार गया. So थोड़ी देर बाद वो ना चावल खा के वो ऐसे ना एक्टिंग करता है कि वो ट्रेन की चेन खींचने वाला है ना. तो कहता है, ओ यार मेरे से खींची नहीं जा रही है ना. तो पंजाबी उठता है, कहता मैं खींच के दिखाना. चावल खाने वाले, कभी रोटी भी खा लिया करो. तो वो आ जाता है, टीटी आ जाता है, ट्रेन रुक जाती है, सब आ जाते हैं. कहते भाई किसने खींची है? तो कहते ये सरदार जी ने खींची है. कहते वो फिर वो कहते इसी को पकड़ो, यही फाइन देगा. फिर वो कहता कभी रोटी खाने वाले हो कभी चावल भी खा लिया करो. So I don't know.
That's a good one. Good one. But and talking about audience, when you look at the audience, you find they're all majority Madrasi or whatever else. Just
Yeah.
remember that English has now become a universal language. हर कोई समझता है इंग्लिश में जोक कर दो तो चल जाता है.
I agree.
Said that Madrasi और पंजाबी की मैं भी एक सुना देता हूँ. I'm married to a Punjabi lady. तो हमारे घर में अक्सर ये बात होता है. मैं उनसे पूछता हूँ कि यार यू डोंट अंडरस्टैंड तमिल, तो उसको तमिल में कहते हैं तमिल तेरी माँ, तमिल तेरी माँ. तो उसको जल्दी में बोला तो लगता है तमिल तेरी माँ. तो मेरी वाइफ कहती है पंजाबी तेरा प्यो. While we're on the subject, have you been through in your profession, in your field, from your life, from childhood days, have you been through a turning point where you felt that you were absolutely useless, or you thought that you were the kingpin, extreme to the other?
I think I'm old enough that I've experienced both. I've felt like the weight on the earth, and I felt like that I'm rocking the boat, and I am the rock star. So I felt both. Which one should I go over first?
Whichever you like. But rocking the boat, please clarify what you mean. To me, rocking the boat means a shit disturber.
Rocking the boat in a way means like you're the boss of the boat and you're the one guiding the boat, taking the direction. You're the captain.
Okay.
In that feel, I meant. So there were. I've had setbacks in business. I've had setbacks in personal relationships. I've had setbacks with the law as well. So, like, whichever way I feel that. So, when I'll go into, I would say, financial one, or should I go into the personal one?
Yeah, whatever you like. Whatever you like.
I think so. I'll go over the financial one because I think more people can relate to it, maybe or not. So whenever you're in a flow, you are doing things. You tend to take on bigger challenges for yourself because in a way that you feel that whatever you have done has become already your capacity. It's like going to the gym. You try to push more. So when this COVID happened and the way that things were going, the ball was rolling. It was getting bigger and bigger, and everybody wanted to buy off real estate. And we were in the middle of the action, and we were also playing for our clients, and then we also were a client for ourselves too. In that overall scenario, I took on a way big project than I should have. What I hadn't done in one house, I took on in two houses at the same time.
Wow. Mm.
Because the way things were going, I didn't want to wait more time for buying a house and then rehabbing it and kind of taking it. I'm like, why don't I do it and this? So now I took on way too much of the weight, and on top of that, the market changed. Oh, and that snowball, which was getting bigger and bigger, now was a snowball of debt because it was like every part was kind of falling and falling on me, and I am the sole income making person in this whole scenario, and I've taken on too much of weight on myself. So I felt that there's no reckoning to it. Like this is all going to collapse on me, and there is like no way I can come out of this. However, like here we are, that everything worked out, and slow steps. Things start to work out when you want them to work out. That you put the efforts to work out, and you have to simplify. Sometimes, simplifying is the best way to go.
So now that you have already been through this, for the benefit of us onlookers, can you tell us simply what one or two or three things that you did that have helped you get out of that rut?
So there is one way I look at things. Like I'm an optimist person, so I look at good things in life. I've let go a lot of people in life. I've let go of places, and always what I want to remember is something that's positive about that, and something that is great about it, because it also makes my life better because I'm looking at the good things. So one part of that is that we always have a hope, right? When things are not working out, sometimes those energies have accumulated and they have to go through you. Like I don't know how to put it in clear terms, but I'm going to use verbiage I use. So that's those energies need to go, and if we are stuck in the middle, that makes it more hurting for ourselves and for them, because they are against us in that time. And for that time, I think I surrender. And in that surrender, I call it rock bottom, to be honest. The rock bottom is the place where you don't have any hope. And you feel that you have let yourself down and you have let everything down. But the best part about the rock bottom is that everything is up from there on. And then I'm like, okay, like if I made that mess, maybe I should look at it how I can clear the mess. If I am to, suffer loss, why am I taking the entire loss? Why don't I take a chunk of it and try to save a chunk of it? So from that rock bottom, when I'm like, okay, everything is done, everything is lost, because in your mind you've lost it. And then from there, I'm like, what can I gain now? Right? Like I think that little bit motivation, little bit this kind of gets you out of that rut, which is a negative spiral, I believe. And that rock bottom gives you that bounce that you need. And again, the energies that you're putting out to the universe, they bring those kind of supports to you. So it thread by thread it starts to pull out, like, and sometimes you grow stronger from it, the things that you thought were the biggest disaster in your life. And that's what adds to your character and adds to your journey, I would say.
I knew that you're an optimist when I read what's written on your background. Believe you can, and you're halfway there.
I really believe that.
I believe that too, but my personal experience is that the second half is bigger than the first half.
It usually is the harder one too. Because I've been an average student. That means up till 50-70% is easy. After that is the harder part, to get 80%, 90%, 99%, right? So,
Yeah.
But one thing, there is like, I am an engineer by education, but I never practiced that part of education. But I got into project management. Even like I did my project management degree from here at Humber College, and when I did that, after that I started looking at everything as a project. Even when I'm doing a sales, it's a project for me. It has. Yeah, it's the same scenarios that you have, like, what's the scope of the situation, what's the budget of the person, and what's the schedule. These three things are, I think, common to everything in life. So that way, I came to that habit of completing things, and because project, everything is, if it's completed. Otherwise it's a philosophy.
Exactly. तो इसमें आपने बात बताई ना, I'm also an engineer from project management background, and I've done quite a few years experience, but this show is about you, not about me. But I'll ask you one question. What is the most important part you do after the project is closed?
After the project is closed, you go look for the next one.
Yeah. So what I was leading to, and this is the basis for this whole the podcast that I started, is lessons learned. And lessons learned we do in the post audit, and we say these are the good things, these are the bad things, these are the things I will try to do differently. And for me, at the age of 79, it's history, but still I want to share with young people so that they don't repeat my experiences. And that's the reason I'm not asking you to go on TED Talks, but you're on Ed Talks. Ed Talks is for people like you and me who worked hard, tried different things, and we're still alive. So let's talk about it, not be ashamed of anything. Everything we've done is good. So I'll let you carry on, sir.
Lead me to some direction, then I can share. Uh,
For example, I did project management in projects in Africa. I had 6 projects in Africa, and I had very rarely my general manager and I met or were on the same continent. But we used to meet at airports, and we used to take notes and write minutes on the back of a cigarette packet. So that was great, but we made several mistakes, which in today's dollar would be millions of dollars worth. So if you
wow.
run it smartly, every dollar you worry about, okay? And if you worry about the pennies, the pounds take care of themselves. So the other thing I learned was every project is as if it's your money. Don't treat it like सरकारी पैसा है या उनके पास तो बहुत पैसा चलेगा. Look at everything that way. But then again, don't micromanage. And the biggest skill I have learned is I was an engineer who was always last in the class, but I passed. And when everybody else would be first class, first people would be studying for 3 months, I used to go out and see every movie that I could see. So I bragged about the fact that पढ़ाई किए बिना पास हो गया. But it was tougher. It was tougher to do, and I will not recommend to young people to do that. मेहनत करो, time से करो, because you only got so many hours in a day, so you can't burn yourself out, right?
Yeah.
Having said that, more than money, most important asset that I found was time. If you know how to manage time, everything else falls into place. What do you think, sir?
I am a big believer of time, and time has a lot of lessons. Like for me, I'm still learning lessons of time. Having said that, I am like the coming year is 2025. That is going to be a 9 vibration. That is also a year of completion. So it's wonderful that we're getting into that. Some of the things that we started long time ago are going to come to completion. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Though some of the completions are not easy. They have their own pain with them. But those are the things that we need to grow. One skill that I don't know, I picked up, and it has been very much a guide to me. That's why I would like to share it. Like if there are younger people, and there's a book called The Alchemist. It's by Paulo Coelho, and I read that book when I was really young. I just wanted to read something that was like easy to digest and wasn't like something. That was the first book I read, and I was, believe me, 20 years old, and I was reading my engineering books. I didn't have time to read another book. There were 40 courses we did, so I read that book, and I really liked how the main character of the story would have certain reflection time, would have a time, and then he would try to see the wind, where the wind is going and how this is, and then there would be like something that kind of speaks to him, and he goes on his journey. And that's how I've taken pretty much my life after that. I see for signs. And once you are in something that, like the things that were important to me, I would go there and look for a sign that universe is on my side. And that's how I would get that positive feedback on myself and reiterate that in my energy providing to them. I have kind of, like, I don't know how that helps, but it really feels that, you are manifesting in a way, and you are reading, and your universe is yours, and which is actually the truth. Like, everybody's universe is speaking their own language, and they should communicate with their universe, I guess, if it makes sense what I'm saying.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Right. And another question that I'll ask is, we've discussed career, and you're quite uh, openly you shared all the ups and downs and what all you've been through in your career. You studied for engineering. And on that subject, we'll talk a few minutes. I say to people who come here, especially engineers, I'm involved with 13,500 of my college people as I was the president of the council. So I'm involved with my classmates, their children, and grandchildren, 3 generations. So I tell them that just because you got it first class first in whatever degree, when you come here, don't expect that the world is going to come and touch your feet and say, this is what you're going to do. All you got, in my simple word, is a learner's license. You got a learner's license to start driving on the highway of Canada. Now you got to prove yourself. Your engineering degree just says, yes, this guy is trainable. Yes, he learns fast. But forget about what all you learned. Now you're going to learn something totally new, whatever it be, whether it's you're in bank, in finance. A lot of our engineers are working in finance and bank and real estate. And that's because you're trainable. Real estate seems like taking orders and picking up the commission, but you know that that's not true. There's 101 things to do, and 101 things where there's as they say, between the cup and the lip, there's many a slip. So you think everything is done, but last minute the council doesn't pass, or mortgage, something happened, blah, blah, blah. So there's lots and lots and lots to learn, and lots and lots and lots to be aware of. However, on that subject, jugaad. Too many people are getting into jugaad. I was just hearing about one real estate agent. He indirectly deals with more than 100 agents. And he tells people, keep put 400,000 down on the $1 million property, and the rest will happen. But if it doesn't happen, they lose their 400. And he says, so what? Or he gets them approved at 2 or 3 or 4% more than the rate of going as a third mortgage. They don't realize that. They knew they just want to buy keys to the house. So they're getting second and third mortgages. And if the mortgage rate is impressive, if these people are smart, they ask how much is the rate, or it's only 2% higher, that's okay. But they don't realize some of them are charging 20,000 upfront for finder's fee, a setting up fee, commission fee, whatever. So these people are stuck. And their monthly bill, if they're making 5,000 a month and they have to pay 3,000 on this, they're up, which creek they're up. Yeah. So they don't realize that now they've also got to pay the taxes, pay the heating bill, maintain the house. Otherwise, our property value goes down. And the basement may not be legal for renting out, which is what the real estate agent didn't tell them. Or somebody who didn't have to tell them. You've got to do your own homework too. Now, you never told them you're going to make your mortgage payment based on your income from there. So these are things that newcomers are falling into the trap. And in this business, I stay 3 or 4 nights a week in Brampton, helping people who are struggling, mostly our community kids. And a lot of them have this vision कि मैं car salesman बन जाऊंगा या real estate salesman बन जाऊंगा, पढ़ना नहीं पड़ता. Please throw some light on this. What all you had to go through, what all besides what they teach you, what all other things you had to do, and everything to do legally, so that.
So I'll share you my journey, okay? Which is exactly the question that you asked. I'm so surprised. So I'm an engineer by background, and when I came to Canada, I did project management, and nobody was hiring managers. Like they were like, there were not even many opportunities for project coordinator or project. someone that I could actually be in the line for. But I needed a job, I needed something to survive, and everything else was pretty much a closed door for me. And the only door that actually opened was sales, because in sales, you are making them money and taking a cut for you. And that's why when they hire you, you're not a, I can't say burden. Employees are not burdens, but they have their own, they have their own responsibilities to play. But in sales, we are on deliverables, we are on results. We don't get paid for our talks and our efforts. We get paid if we can do the deal. And that's why my project management background helped me more. And one thing for the youngsters, that, you know, learning is not really books. Learning is every day of the life. There is this, I went to India for this month, and my maid told me something which just kind of lit my this. She said, there is a happiness in taking care of responsibilities. I'm like, wow, like I've never looked at them like that. That responsibilities can also give you happiness, and she shed that light to me. So she's my teacher in that moment. I am ready for that lesson, so she gave me that lesson. But our purpose is to be ready for those things, then rather than.
Just for my viewers' benefit, please repeat who this person was. She's not a gold medalist.
No, she is my maid. She was doing all the safai, and she does did our, what do you call, utensils, and she's maid. She takes care of that stuff. And then she was just talking to me, and we got into a deeper conversation, and she's like, oh, there's happiness in taking care of responsibilities. I'm like, this is mind blowing for me. I'm still learning as I'm trying to put it, right? So from learning comes in a lot of ways. So going back to the time when I was not being hired as project manager or project anything. The only thing that looked up for me, there was a car salesman position in Surrey, BC. I was in British Columbia before, and Jim Pattison was the biggest auto group over there, and they had their Hyundai sales position open. I went there. I wasn't confident to talk to people. Whenever you are in a need of something, I was in a need of a job. It reflects in your tone. I don't know. It reflects out. And they didn't kind of hire me. They had 2 interviews. They didn't hire me, but a friend of mine, she's like, why don't you go follow up? So I call them next day. They don't answer my call. Manager is busy. And then, in the afternoon, I call again. They don't answer. So my friend says, what are you doing at home? You don't have a job. Why don't you go drop in? You know where the dealership is. It's a dealership. I went to the dealership, and they're like, oh, this guy's so consistent. He called us 2 times. Though I wasn't confident to speak, but that came together. They hired me. As I said, I'm not going to be a burden on them. If I make my money, if I make them money, I get my cut. So that's how I got my first job in Canada as a sales guy in car sales. But it was a reputed company. They had good scenarios for me, and I had to learn. I had to learn every single step of the sale. So at that time, was I thinking that my 4 years degree, where is that going? No, it opened a new door for me. I'm very much an accidental guy. Everything what has happened to me in my life is very much accidental. It's like, oh, this is happening, so you do this. This is happening, you do this. It's not.
आपके काम वाली का मैं समराइज करूं, अगर काम वाली ने आपको ज्ञान दिया है जो किताबों से नहीं मिला हमको, तो that is wisdom versus book knowledge. and that can only be earned the hard way.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Wisdom. So wisdom is wealth. Mind is money. Right? Like, so whenever we are in mind, we are in money. Like, we are in, like, kharche is just like little bit. But wealth is abundant. Wealth is a real richness. And if you ask me, I think, like, this wealth is abundant in its own way, knowledge. So the more you attain it, the more you gain it. It's amazing. And I always believe the one thing that you have to do is you have to work on yourself, because you have to become that receptive person, that who is able to catch this cue that the universe is giving to you. If you are not that Santiago from Alchemist, you're not catching the cue. You are not understanding that this air is trying to tell me something, and this numbers are trying to tell me something. This message on the back of the bus is trying to tell me something. Like, those are the messages for you. Your universe has sent them, but if you're going to go unaware from them, then you might not be able to. And it's juicy too, believe me. Like, it's fun. Some days you are like, oh my god, today universe is really onto me.
I love your positive attitude. Having said that, let me talk about what you got on your wall. I see over there, besides the ones that are written in simple words, I also see the analogy of the cup being half full or half empty. Am I right?
Yeah, like that cup has Buddha on the other side. I'm a big believer of serenity and peace. I feel that is that should be your basic underlying nature, that you should be peaceful inside. And then, like, there are few messages which are for me.
Mm-hmm.
One of them says strong, happy, blessed.
Mm-hmm.
So in a way that, like, strength, mental strength, physical strength, happiness, I feel, is a very vague way, but I feel joy is a better way to look at. But now this is old, but blessed, I feel, is a very grateful feeling. You should have that feeling too.
Okay, we'll wrap up now, but
Yeah.
I will only let you go if you promise to come back later on when we have a little bit more intelligent questions to ask you. You have a world of knowledge there, and we'd love to have you back here. Would you come back again sometime?
Oh, definitely, I would love to. If someone's there, if someone feels good about what I've shared, I'm very happy to know that.
So to wrap it up, I'm going to ask you for something personal. Personal because I'm very dear in my heart is the number of students that my generation has brought from India with false expectations, either by cheating them or just telling them that we are all buying Lamborghinis every year and Canada's land of milk and honey. So that has to stop and that has to change. I don't know if you're aware, but at least 5 bodies are being returned home every month to India, or more than 500 in the last few years, only from the Toronto area. And this is all because they came here with false expectation, or they made their parents take 60, 70, 80 lakh loans, and they know that can be never repaid. Now, I have a few cases where people are upset because it's been 8 years and their house is not yet paid off. It's been 3 years, I'm still driving an old car, 3-year-old car. And these are people that, one-on-one I can tell them, but it goes on forever. I'm hoping that you, being in closer to their age group, can take 2 or 3 or 4 minutes and make some sense. Tell us what is expected. I'm trying to say, hey, you guys are still welcome here. But अगर पंजाब उड़ाया और यहाँ के Ontario उड़ाना के सोच रहे हो, तब मत आओ. You're welcome if you're not criminals. You're welcome if you're gonna not shit and spit on the street. You're not. So, from your words, can you give me a few minutes of good advice, please?
See, like, good advice for them is, it's a real scenario. We all have gone through a lot in Canada for past 4 or 5 years. Like, since the pandemic, we all have gone through a lot. We have seen some ups and downs that we did not anticipate. We were not looking forward to them, and we just had to take them as a wave, and like something. And they came here to make a better life, to make a better future for them. And that one part is education. I hope they did invest their suitable time on education. That would at least would have enriched them like that. And the other education which nobody talks about here, but is very important, is financial education. Here it's very easy for you to go somewhere and sign few papers, and you think it's nothing, but you have taken a debt for life, and you would not realize it until you do, and then it's too late. So it's better to educate yourself for these financial, I wouldn't say traps, but I would say they are enticing offers all around. Like, be very careful for them. The third part is, like, we all hope that something works out for you guys. It worked out for me in the past. It worked out for a lot of people. But sometimes it's saturation time. Like, it's saturation is that they are only expecting a certain number of people to be permanent residents, and then they would be taking some of them from outside too. It's something that is bottleneck for you guys, and I hope you guys could take it as a strength and gain something. If you're unable to stay here or like be here, it's hard to say, but God give you guys strength, and educate yourself, man. I think that nobody can steal that from you. It's nothing that is like a car that is stolen from the driveway. No, education, nobody steals it. You always gain it, and it grows with you. That's all I could say.
On topic of education, unfortunately, we've got children here. Children, I'm saying, everybody's a child compared to me at 79. But mid-20s, my people who are almost ready to get married, they're coming from India, some of them, I wouldn't generalize, but they're saying, I couldn't pass 10th grade in India because education system is very bad there. Canada mein aake main kar lena, 12 bhi kar lunga, MBA bhi kar lunga, but 10th grade nahi pass hota hai. So when I explain to them, they say, uncle, you're old-fashioned. Today life has changed. So I just can't get through to them that you got to work every step you got to take. And you made a very good point, is education, nobody can strip off you. And the other part I'd like to stress is that sales basis, commission basis, if I had it my way, every job would be based on productivity. You get paid according to things. Otherwise, you're sitting with 3 people who are not carrying their load, getting the same wage as you. It's very demotivating. Having said that, when you're working on performance basis, sales on commission, you will see months when you don't have any income. So you touched on a point there, financial education नहीं है हम लोगों को. हम लोगों को अगर $1,000 मिल रहे हैं तो हम ये सोचते हैं कि 1000 के क्या खरीदें. ये नहीं सोचते कि 1000 में से 800 ही घर आएंगे, और उसमें से भी लोन पेमेंट करना है, कार पेमेंट करना है, बस का किराया निकालना है, ये सब निकाल के you have to plan for these things. ये हमें होश नहीं है. And we can't always rely on parents sending us money. And if you do rely on it, yes, you have to. Parents are good for that. But think about this. You are a parent. Someday you will be a parent. आप अपने बच्चों के लिए क्या कर रहे हो? उनको कहते रहोगे कि दादाजी से लेना बेटा? No, you got to teach them to be independent. So make Canada beautiful once again, and thank you very much. If you have any extra thoughts, please go ahead. We'll have a few minutes more.
Extra thought, no, like the way you mentioned it, it's very right. Like the financial education part is very important, because everything is a step towards that financial freedom, because everybody is here for financial freedom. and they give you a great opportunity. They don't ask you which place you're from, which village you belong to, what's your last name. They don't discriminate on your color. They don't discriminate here at all. It's something that we have to understand, that they're giving us an opportunity, and we got to show them that we are worth that opportunity. We are worth that work that they are going to delegate to us. And once you feel that, and they also feel that, and they will give that opportunity to you. It happens to me all the time when I'm going there to go get a listing. I feel that I can help them. I can bring them a good offer if they are like on the same page as I am, and then yeah, it happens. They can see that sincerity in that. In me, and that what I'm committing and where I'm coming from. Like there's no there's no rocket science to it. It's like something. It reflects. It reflects in your tone. As I said, like, when I needed that job and I went for that interview, it reflected in my tone that I am in a need of something. So these are the things that I think human behavior is amazing to learn more and more about it. It's gonna be more fruitful than anything else in life.
Okay, Bhai Sahab, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on our show at short notice. Thank you for making this a very successful day. And I will be working on this. Please don't go away. I'm going to end the recording, but I've got a few questions to ask of you. Okay?
Okay.